After working for 9 years as project consultant for Ottawa General Contractors, Nick Karrandjas has become an expert in homes big and small. And now that coach houses have become a viable option for Ottawa homeowners, he is here today to provide his expert advice on the coach house revolution. Please help me welcome back to the stage, Nick Karrandjas.
Thank you, Rhonda. Hey guys, thank you. I like the energy, good vibes. This is awesome. Thank you for taking the time, making the investment, coming out here. I really appreciate it. Should be a pretty action-packed presentation. Like Rhonda said, my name is Nick Karrandjas. I'm project consultant for Ottawa General Contractors. We are a design and build firm here in Ottawa that specializes in major renovations throughout the Ottawa area, of course. Really excited to be here. This is a great new type of housing. Some huge benefits that will bring to the landscape of Ottawa and really change it throughout. So who here has heard of a coach house? Hands up. Yes, awesome. That's really good. I love that you guys have done the research. I hope you're just as excited as I am. Maybe your energy levels are a little bit lower. Some of you, though, it looked like maybe about 30% of you just have this questioning look on your face. You're looking at me like I have two heads, and I know exactly why you guys are here. You fell into the home show trap. I see it, you did, I know. What is that? You bought the ticket, you're here on a mission, right? You're like, I'm gonna look at countertops, I'm gonna look at a kitchen, I'm gonna look at bathrooms. And you were focused. And then you came walking in the doors over there. You passed Rocco, the security guard, bald like me, right? And you took a deep breath. And then you smelled cinnamon Nutella donuts. And your animal instincts kicked in, and you've been walking up and down the aisles and all over, and you're like, where are these things? I can't find them. And then you see all these lovely seats sitting here, right? So you're taking a seat. Regardless of why you're here, again, I'm very excited to have you. It's gonna be informative. We're gonna have lots of fun. So before we jump in, quick outline to the presentation. Really what we wanna do is we wanna catch on what is a coach house? What solutions do they provide? Can I build one? How do I build one? I'll show you a couple quick examples of ones that we've done before. I have one housekeeping rule though. So just to make this as efficient as possible, I think there'll be a degreeing level of knowledge throughout the audience, or a varying degree of knowledge throughout the audience. So I'm gonna ask that you save all of your questions till the end. We'll have a nice, long, big question and answer session. You guys can stick around. I will have over on the side some guest registration cards. So if you guys want a copy of the presentation, if you guys want to have a nice little PDF with a whole bunch of extra information, if you want that, you can just throw me your email address. We'll shoot that over to you. And then we can take some one-on-one questions because a lot of it will be very detailed and very specific to your lot, right? First off, before we jump in, one of the things I want to do is, you can see as I move around and throw the arms up and down, I've got a lot of energy. I want to make this interactive. So instead of me just spewing information at you, we're going to make it a little bit interactive. And here's what I've got planned for us. I'm going to pull up a question just like this. I'm going to count down from 3, and then you guys are going to read the question. Okay? It's got to be nice and loud. You got to stay with a lot of energy. You want to stand up. You want to throw your arms up in the air too. I encourage that, right? So let's do this. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Yeah, there we go. Coach houses. All right, 3, 2, 1. That's an excellent question. Good job, guys. So basically what a coach house is, 5 seconds or less, essentially it's a small accessory apartment. It's built away from your principal dwelling on that big backyard, small backyard, whatever you've got. It's like a bungalow, little bit mini bungalow, one level. We can do a little basement to it. And it uses the existing services and infrastructure that you already have coming to your house. Whether that's in the city, whether that's septic and well, it's got it, it's there. All right, first one went well, I think. I see some nods, I see you guys are absorbing it, you like it, good. Next question, ready? 3, 2, 1. I love it, thank you. All right, so first one, let's talk about the money. That's why we work. We spend most of our time working to make money. Let's just go right straight to it, right? One of the big challenges that we're seeing in Ottawa, across Ontario, and even Canada and the world is actually affordable housing. So the stats on that are those that pay rent pay at least 40% of their income towards housing. Doesn't give you time to do things that you like and enjoy and spend money on investments and everything like that, right? So that's one big challenge. Also, what we see is on the money side, coach housing gives you a great opportunity to invest your money into real estate for future retirement, for life enjoyment, and really just getting your funds and your current equity working for you guys. This is maybe what your backyard used to look like. It was probably the center of the house as your kids grew up. You had that beautiful play structure, you had the sandbox, you had the deck, your neighbors would come over and enjoy it. Just an awesome place to be. Now this might be what your backyard looks like. It's a source of maintenance, it's tiring, and basically what it is potentially just your dog's bathroom. So you've got all this potential equity, all this land sitting there, really doing nothing. We could put a coach house there, and now you've got cash flow. You're really making use of that, right? Getting that to work for you guys. Next challenge that we see, again, throughout the world, throughout Canada, everywhere, urban sprawl. So I live in Carleton Place. I really appreciate that all of you guys work very hard, put your tax dollars together, and you've paved this fantastic, huge 2-lane highway for me and the 12 other people who live in Carleton Place to get from Ottawa out there, right? Humongous capital investment. It's not the way of the future. The next one, streetscapes, not manscapes, okay? One of the things that we see often, one of these things is not like the other. That's something we see all the time in building. You guys know it. You probably live on streets that are like that. You've got the nice little beautiful community. People come from all over touring Ottawa. They want to see the nice houses. They want to see those beautiful looking places. And they see it. You guys have maintained them, kept them well, and something sort of pops up like that, right? It ruins the community feel. It ruins the streetscape throughout. The goal really, being something like this. Keep it consistent, keep it nice, keep it beautiful. That is Wisteria Lane, for all of you Desperate Housewife fans. Some of you are out there, I see some smiles. Guilty pleasure in university, shh, don't tell anybody. Next question, guys. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's find out. So, size matters, of course, right? What we need to do is we need to find out where you live. Yes, it does matter. Show of hands, who here lives in the urban areas? So the Barhavens, the central towns, around and within sort of the green belt. Show of hands quickly. There we go. Okay, awesome. So if you guys have, maybe a small bungalow like this, it's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-bathroom, nice little open space, single car garage, you're looking at a footprint of about 1,300 square feet. And so this is one big determining factor. You measure the garage, it's basically all the exterior walls, because it's about 1,300 square feet. That would allow you to build about a 520 square foot coach house. So that's a pretty common sized house, right? Let's say maybe you have something a little bit bigger. You live more out in the suburbs. This is about a 2,200, 2,300 square foot house. That would now allow you to build about an 860 square foot coach house in your backyard. The other thing we need to keep in mind is the rear lot size. Maybe this is your lot size. You're ranging, let's say, something smaller, about a 30 by 100, usually about a 30 by 30, 30 by 40 backyard. That would give you, again, about a 400 to 500 square foot coach house easily. You maybe live in the suburbs like that, you're at a 50 by 100, now you're looking about an 800 square foot coach house. Anybody here live in the rural areas? The Greeleys, the Manitics? Fantastic, okay? Not as many as I hoped, but you guys are very lucky. It's simple. You have a 2-acre lot. It's easy. You can build a monstrosity if you want. You've got the space for it, right? So how did I come up with these numbers? You don't have to read this one out. Basically, the simple way is the 40% rule. So essentially what the 40% rule is we take your existing home, we measure out that footprint, we take 40% of that. We get our figure. Let's say it's 500 square feet. We then go to your wherever you're going to put the coach home, whether that's in the rear yard, whether that's on a corner side yard, and we measure out that space. Take 40% of that. Whatever the lower value is, that's what will determine what the size of coach house, maximum size of coach houses that we can build. So you'll see here, we've done it. On the building, there's your 40%, the yard, there's your 40%, and now we know our maximum footprint is 860 square feet, right? Some quick examples, you're kind of thinking, well, you're throwing out square footage numbers, what does that actually look like? So if we go on the small end, 420 square foot coach house gives you a great sized bedroom with closet space, an extra sort of linen closet, bathroom, kitchen space, dining and living area. And again, that's on the smaller end, right? We step up where maybe we have a little bit more room with the home, with the land, and we're doing about 620 square feet. You can get a lot in this space. You're looking at basically 2 bedrooms or a bedroom with an office, linen closet, additional closet, bathroom, open kitchen, dining room, and living room space. So you can really, designed efficiently, get a lot of space in there. And that's only on the main level. One of the nice little tricks we can do, build a full basement, and then we can start utilizing that square footage as well. Put the mechanical in there, get some extra rooms, whatever you need. For those of you in the rural space, you can get up to something like this on one level. About 1,000 square feet, you're looking at 2, 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms. It's basically a home. It's a full-size home that's there. So I think we can do it. I think that's, the size makes sense, what you have makes sense, this is possible. All right, guys, ready? Next question. 3, 2, 1. That was great. That was a really long one. That gave me a good chuckle. Thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. So, why should we do this as an investment? We all have dreams. We all work hard. We want to get to retirement. We want to sit there. We want to enjoy that glass of wine, by the pool, live the dream, right? Well, this is one thing that coach housing can help with. One option that people sometimes consider is exactly that, as an investment opportunity. Instead of for themselves, or maybe for themselves in the future, let's go down to Florida. Let's buy that beautiful place. Let's get some international real estate in our portfolio, right? Maybe you went to a Steve Martell presentation, right? He got you all excited. You've been there. He's got you all excited. You're fired up. And then you didn't listen to any of his advice. You went out on your own and you bought it yourself, right? And that place in Florida that you bought, because you're not a legal expert, there's so many people involved, there's other property managers, there's a whole bunch, there's currency transfers. Maybe that what you saw and signed up the paper for is now this, and you don't know, you don't go there. The property manager takes care of it. They're taking your money, so they keep showing you the nice pictures of the beautiful place that they live in, and really you've got this, and who knows where your money's going to, right? So those are some of the challenges there. Of course, I couldn't help myself. There's that guy. Yeah. One of the other options is sort of the traditional housing, your townhomes, your single-family homes. One of the challenges there, in compared to coach houses, is it's off-site tenants, right? The home is wherever it's located. Maybe it's in Orleans and you guys live in Barhaven. Who knows what the case is? You're not going to stop by every day and check up on it. Maybe you interviewed this amazing tenant. They seem professional. They seem great. They had a nice little girlfriend, and then stuff went sideways, and now they've turned into the crazy party animal. They're ruining your house, destroying your investment, making it look like this. You're losing money, and it's causing you a lot of headache. Coach houses, brand new, 7-year warranty, no unforeseen maintenance. You're not attached to their properties. You don't have to share roofs. You don't have to fight fences and tipping over. None of that stuff, right? So you're thinking maybe, okay, those are, I see your points. What about using my existing home to then do a secondary suite, right? Maybe we put in the basement, we do all the fire separation, we put in the baffles in the furnace, we have to revamp the whole space, we put in outside concrete stairs, or we do it in our attic space above, make use of that in the existing home. Well, that nice tenant could end up being this guy. Who wants to live with that guy in your basement or above you, right? No drum sets allowed, and they bring it in. What are you going to do? You're going to have a fight, maybe cause you some headaches, right? And on the flip side, these people are in your home, right? If there's one thing I've learned after 10 years of marriage is that handcuffs take on a whole new meaning, okay? And you don't want to be living in the same house when somebody forgets the safe word, all right? Yeah. Awkward moment cleaning off the cars in the morning for sure. You want to keep your home as your place of zen, your oasis. You want to keep it to you and your family. Keep it peaceful like this, right? Or have the screaming kids running around all the time, but at least they're your screaming kids and no one irritates each other. Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's go back to some of the financial sides with these different investments. So if we're looking at the condos, you're going to pay condo fees. A lot of times what happens, people get all excited, they go in, they see the new build, oh, it's going to come in the future, I'm going to get in first. You get that nice little handout from the builder, condo fees are at $250 a month, you think, perfect, I'm going to have great cash flow. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, it turns into a $600 a month condo fee, right? Reassessments come up 10 years down the road, you have to pay $30,000 because the condo board didn't manage it correctly or something huge came up. There is always the fun side of taxes. Everyone loves to pay them. That's how we get big highways to Carleton Place for me. When you do a coach house, you have one tax bill. Basically what ends up kicking in is that now the property taxes go up just marginally by the value of the increase on the property value. You're not paying that whole separate tax bill that includes for all the services and infrastructure and everything else that's in there. So let's cut down on the taxes, right? And then of course you buy another property right off the hop, 2% out of your pocket, gone. Closing costs, done, to the lawyers, taxes, everything like that. Let's go a little deeper into the numbers. Average housing costs in Ottawa. We've seen the pricing climb at a nice steady pace. Condo, average, about $260,000. Residential homes, about $400,000. When we build a coach home, the cost is pretty flat. It's more lot specific. So if you're going to build a coach home in Orleans, if we're building the same size in central Ottawa, the cost to actually build that is going to stay relatively flat for us, right? So there's huge income potentials depending on where you end up purchasing, just based on the values of rent and the value of the property there. So let's look into some details. You may know Bruce Firestone. He was with the Rough Riders, real estate expert now, working here in Ottawa, does a lot of work with Ottawa University. He published an article that maybe some of you guys have seen. I took a quick snap of that and modified the numbers. I didn't want to come up here and make up some wonderful, glorious numbers and thinking that it's totally biased. Looking at the cost of construction, let's say we build you one somewhere around 400 or 600 square feet, cost is about $120,000. Depending on the area, we could get up to about $1,900 a month in rent, which includes the utilities. Factoring in about $100 a month for vacancy allowance, our net operating cost is around about $1,400 a month. And that gives us a great cap rate of about 13%. So that's a really, really strong investment. If you took those condos, $500 a month easily starts to come off of that, right? Those reassessments come in, the townhomes, the stuff that you have to add starts eating into all of this. And you're not spending $120,000, you're spending $300,000 to buy the property. What would Kevin O'Leary say? Our potential future prime minister, right? He would say, you're killing the money. The money is literally floating away there and you're shooting it down. What are you doing? Let's flip it to the other side, right? Let's get a little softer. What would Gandhi say? I don't know. Let's find out. Next question. 3, 2, 1. That's a great question. Start with family. This gives you an opportunity that, regardless of what your situation is, you can help your family. So let's say you have seniors that are thinking about maybe going into a retirement home. One of their biggest concerns is the loss of independence, right? You want to help out mom and dad. They've been good to you, hopefully. Let's be good to them. So this gives you an opportunity to build in the backyard. You can kind of help out with them. Instead of spending $3,000 to $5,000, a month on a retirement home, again, we saw kind of the mortgage cost and overall cost to get into one. Now you can put that equity in your pocket and then help out with some extra special care and things like that, right? Next one is snowbirds. Mom and dad maybe have unloaded all the equity with their current property and they're thinking about buying a condo. Maybe they got that place in Florida that they actually go to and they've seen and witnessed. They're going to take that equity maybe and build that coach house in your backyard. So they pay for it and then they have a place to stay 6 months. You just watch it in the backyard, make sure no one's, just shacking up in there and taking over. The other one, new Canadians coming in, instead of them living in the home, great opportunity for them to have their independence, and university students, any of your kids like that, great spot for them, as well as accessibility, because it's on one level, it's really gonna help out that way, right? The community approach. Again, we talked about streetscapes, we talked about keeping the community feel. One of the things that coach housing does as well is it really takes a minimalist approach, both in its floor plan, but then also in the fact that we're not coming in and demoing an existing home that's there, right? Regardless of the shape, we're not wasting all those resources that have been put together. We're building something new, something small, and we're keeping what's already in place. This just really helps that way. So by now, maybe you're excited, right? You're pretty pumped up. You're like, I'm kind of liking this idea. How much effort is this going to take, and what do I need to do? So, next question. 3, 2, 1. No, you can't. You can't just start shoveling away. What we need to look at doing is basically engaging in some of the experts. We got to investigate and verify the existing property, the existing services. We have to get the engineers involved. We got to create construction plans, detailed plans, everything like that. And we got to send them off to the city. They need to review it all. They need to go through their process and make sure that everything's correct and right and get our approvals. That was the quick rundown. Here's a little more. Here's what's involved. So who do we need, right? We need a land surveyor. First off, that's what we want. You might be living in a house and you and your neighbor put up a fence, or somebody put up a fence 50 years ago, and you don't even have a survey. You didn't get one with the house. We need to find out exactly where your property dimensions are and any of the variables that are in there, some sewer trenches, some things like that. We need to get that mapped out. We're going to get that inspected and looked at there so they can confirm everything. Next step is we need to meet with the city planners. So you sit down with them, we need to show them what we're doing, talk about what we're doing, see if we meet all the bylaws, all the sub-bylaws, all the zoning, all the details that go into protecting the community and the existing area. Then we also need to have a service consultation with them. What has been run, where has it been run, what kind of services are existing. Our next step from there is engaging in the plumber and the electrician to verify that information. Do we need to upgrade the panel? Do we need to do multiple panels? How are we going to run that from here to the coach home? What kind of water and plumbing is coming into your house? Where do we need to upgrade? City line, at the home, how do we branch off, right? We get into the arborists and landscape planners. They need to verify, with the trees. We can't just come in and take down all the trees and pop a coach home there. We got to be protective of that. Not only ours, but then also our neighbors. We can't ruin the root system and do things like that. That's one of the bylaws that are in there. Next step, and a long one that involves a lot, designers and architects. We need to draft up those plans. We need to get going in the details. We need to get the engineer's stamps. We need to get all that put together. And we need to engage those engineers. They need to do the grading plans and the drainage. So we're not just running water in the neighboring homes. We're fitting in with the whole community water flow and the feel, right? Get that surfacing plan created, get that confirmed, get that stamped off. Septic and wells, same thing. And then obviously the construction plans need to be done. You may think that we're done with that. So what if you almost meet the requirements? Like people, every single property, every single home is very, very, very unique. And so what we need to do is we need to look deeper into your specific situation, because basically they put out blanket policies for all of Ottawa, for all of Ontario, and then go to each little zone and pocket that you guys live in. But again, every property is different, right? So we need to inspect those to see, maybe we could do this great coach home, but we're going to be offset by a foot on the setbacks. Well, we need to confirm that, and what we need to do then is submit for a minor variance. Everything I talked about before, all the plans, all the engineering, everything that you need to get done has to be done to go into submitting for the minor variance, to set yourself up for success. And so then we meet with the committee adjustments, go through all that. It's a big time commitment, but it is very, very common. We do a lot of major renovations, and most additions, most major scale projects require some kind of a minor variance to make things work. In fact, we've been fortunate that with the hard work and creating win-wins with everyone, we've been able to get 100% success rate on minor variance and even OMB approvals there. So now maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. It's a lot of information, it's a lot of people to engage, a lot of stakeholders. Last question. 3, 2, 1. Loud. I love it. These guys might be able to help. You might know them. Our friend Brian Baumler, Mike Holmes Jr., but they might be busy doing television shows. One of them might be prepping his makeup right now for a presentation in a couple minutes. I don't know if they'll have the time, right? What you want to engage in is a relationship with a professional company that takes care of design, build, that's been through this process a lot, so that they can show you the path of least resistance, and they can show you what's involved, and see if that's the right fit. That's probably the most important thing. Someone that's going to handle it, that's going to be one source of accountability for you guys. I think the next best thing to these guys, and in my opinion maybe even a little bit better, is our guy, Brian Sim. He's standing right over there, black shirt, that's the man. He has many, many, many years of building these coach houses in our Vancouver office. So there, it's very, very, very popular. Laneway homes, we've been building them for a long time. We're experts in it, we've done it. He's the man. We've stolen them from Vancouver. He's now here permanently. He's locked down, and he's ready to start building a lot of coach houses. That's my shameless plug. Got to throw it in, right? I couldn't help myself. So we got Brian Sim. We got all that experience in Vancouver. He's here. He's ready to go. And we actually even have Ottawa's first permit for a coach house. And just to give you, a little bit of a tease, that's one of the projects we did out in Vancouver. Here's a couple more. We can go modern. We can go traditional. So many options. So many great things. So you guys have been very patient. I've talked a lot. You're maybe tired of hearing my voice. Now I'd like you to open up the floor to any questions. I've noted down questions and maybe answers because a lot of the time with projects like this, there's so many little details. So you may ask me a question and I may actually need to see a lot of information. I may need to come to your home. I may need to do things like that. But go ahead and ask them anyways. I might take them offline and we can sit down and schedule some time to get together. We can investigate and help you guys out. Rhonda has the microphone. Any questions, throw up your hand and we'll get started on this.
So, the house has 2 floors.
Yep.
I understand now there's only 1 floor of coach house.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a technicality on that. So the question was, sorry, I'll just repeat it for us there. Can we do a 2-story, right? So you need to keep it on one level. There's a couple exceptions. So if you had like a rear laneway where you already had an existing garage, you can build over the existing garage. If you do have a random garage in your property, regardless of being a rear laneway, you can build over that garage as well. You still need to fit within those size requirements. Obviously, we need to get into more investigation with, what's the stability of the garage? What's there? Are we retrofitting it? Do we end up having to tear it down and build as is, but to new code and then go from there? So there's a lot of variables, but you can do actually a 2-story that way. In the urban setup, and then definitely in the rural, you can build right over a garage. You can do like a triple car garage and then put one over there. So it's sort of you can't, kind of case by case. Excellent question. Thank you. Yep.
I don't think it would be making.
Yeah. So usually what you do as your first step is you're just going to have an engineer come out and do an assessment of the septic system. Check the volumes, check everything, confirm it, see what kind of shape it's in. And then we'll look at, okay, what kind of footprint are we building? How many bathrooms? What are we going to put into the coach house? What's the current requirements in the home? And then see what additional demand you need, if any, assuming that you do need it based on your comment. And then basically you'll have to just upgrade that to be able to handle the flow. When you have septic and well, when you're in the rural properties, basically you just need to connect to one of them with the coach house. You could build, your current septic could handle your existing primary house, and then you could build a coach home and it could have its own little septic. But then you need to tie into your existing well. So we need to inspect the well and confirm that it can take that also.
We're on city water.
Oh, awesome, okay. That gets into, I need to see your property where you are and get into a little bit more detail because there is a little bit of a gray area that when you have that, depending on where you fall in the city of Ottawa, you might not actually be able to build one. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we can go see my best buddy, Ian Kelly, over at the city of Ottawa. We can sit down with him, have a quick powwow, run through everything, and just see if we can make it work or what the solutions would be to make it work. The hard and fast rule from Ontario is, you're falling in the gray area. Yeah. Don't get discouraged. This is what we deal with on every major project. We'll help you.
Appropriate. And also, where do you get the name coaches?
So that's actually the name that the federal government, the Ontario government, and all across Canada, they use for this type of housing. Is a coach house. So there's like village homes and coach houses, and you start Googling it and you're like, aren't they just basically smaller homes or tiny house movements? The quick rundown on that one is that with a coach house, it's different. Is that it's a smaller, separate dwelling and it's attached to a foundation. So if you go and look at like, oh, I saw a village home, they're usually not attached. They don't have a foundation. Maybe they're on deck blocks, they're on posts, they're on piers, they're things like that. Best thing for you to do is just go into your municipal building, bring with all the information that you have, surveys, anything like that, and just tell them what you're looking to do. Because this is a big push across Ontario, so you can just go in and see them and talk to the local office, show them what you want to do, and then see what advice they have for that. Yeah. Yep. Nope. So you don't have to do a full foundation. It's just one of the possible benefits that if we were building from new, because we'd want to get below frost line anyways, we'd usually go to doing a full foundation, because then you have full function of the space. But yeah, in your case, that could be really, really efficient, because if depending on when it was built, do you know when it was built? 50s? Okay, so we definitely have to just check the footing sizes, see what's there, go in for more of like a retro permit, and then just see if we can update it, run the services in, and then we can use that footprint, and that would be your path of least resistance that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Do the neighbors have to consent to something else on their property?
The only time that's an excellent question. So the only time that neighbors have to consent and allow you to build anything is if you go down the road of doing a minor variance. So that's where there's actually, we'll go meet, we'll do everything with the city. They'll send out notice throughout the community, flyer it, put up the sign on your property, and then hold a big meeting. And that's where, what we typically do, and along with you is go and see all the neighbors. So if you're in the, we're 4 inches over the setback and we need a minor variance, then you'll want to wine and dine your neighbors a little bit, talk to them, say, here's what I'm doing. Are you going to challenge this? Do you have concerns? Can we tweak something to help you? We've done that a lot, right? Like maybe they don't like the roof line because it impacts their son. Perfect. Well, let's look at tweaking this and create that win-win, and then you won't have any challenges that way. If you fit within everything, as long as you meet in the bylaws, issue a building permit, and we go full speed ahead.
Most of the homes today run off 100 amp services. Do you need to upgrade to a 200 amp service, or do you still run off 100 amp?
Depends on what's in the existing home. In terms of draw on it. So sometimes if you're looking at like that smaller bungalow, you only had a couple rooms, you didn't have tons and tons of draw from it, you didn't have mechanical equipment in there in the basement or something like that, it was really light usage, we could just keep the existing 100 amp service and just go that way. Thank you guys very much for taking the time. I hope that was informative. If you want, again, copy of this presentation, or more importantly, I have a lot more information. You can skip some of the crazy photos I put in there. I'm always happy if you want to leave your email address, and I can just send you a quick PDF of some more information. We can also book a time to come out to your home to look at it. You guys can come to the office, and we can really sort of look at the details and help you guys out as well. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.